This is Off Script with Trish Glose, intimate interviews and conversations with interesting people. And in front of my microphone today is Joelle Graves. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you.
It's nice to see you.
It's been a while. Joelle is the executive director of the Rogue Valley Symphony, a title you were just handed a short time ago.
July 1st.
Okay. It's been going good?
It's been going good. I just did a year of interim.
That's right. That's right.
So, in other words, prove yourself worthy.
Show us you can do it, Missy.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, we're going to talk a lot about the symphony and
right.
music in general because I know that's kind of your thing.
Yeah.
Not even kind of.
It's a big part of my life.
Huge part of your life. But first, like I always do, I want to start off with, where are you from originally?
I'm from Sunnyvale, California.
A California girl.
Yeah, heart of the Silicon Valley.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yep.
What was your childhood like?
That's an interesting question. My childhood was challenging.
Yeah?
Yeah, I grew up in a really at-risk home. 2 alcoholic parents. So I think very early I had to learn how to survive.
On your own?
Yeah, it almost became a problem because later in life, because I became too good at fixing and finishing. So I had to learn how not to always fix and finish.
Okay, so 2 alcoholic parents, and this is all in California.
Yeah.
How long were you guys there in?
Well, I was there from the time I was born. So I was born in Redwood City,
Okay.
and then my mom had a couple of marriages, and we moved around a little bit. I had a great stepfather, and he raised me. But, you know, I was in Sunnyvale until I went to college. I went to college, and then I left home and tried to figure things out.
Was real dad an alcoholic, or was stepdad?
My stepdad.
Okay, and
Yeah.
your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you say at risk, was it just that they were neglectful? Like, what do you mean by that?
You know, they didn't, I guess my way of looking at it is they didn't mean to be neglectful, but the alcohol made them neglectful. So my mom was kind of on an every other day schedule. So as an 11-year-old, I had a calendar, and I would circle every other day on the calendar, and I'd do it a whole year in advance, and I would know which holidays my mom could be there for.
Wow, you're saying every other day she was drinking?
She was drunk.
Drunk.
And the other day she recuperated, and then the next day she did it again. And she never could break the cycle until 3 years before she died. And then I felt like I finally really met my mom.
Really?
Yeah. She was 63, and she kind of had a bunch of miracles happen in her life. We'd already moved to Oregon, so Allison was, by that time 10, and
That's your first girl.
my oldest daughter, and then Colleen was 5, and Grandma stopped drinking. She got hypnotized to stop smoking, and she stopped drinking instead.
Hey,
It was awesome.
whatever works.
It was great.
So going back to the calendar, how old are you?
Oh, I started doing that from the time I could go to Hallmark and pick up a calendar.
Goodness.
I would go get the little free one that was out there on display. I would buy a couple little things, and I would plan ahead, and that way I would know if I would be cooking Thanksgiving, or should I finish up Christmas, or
Wow.
what would happen on my birthday. I never had a birthday party growing up, so I didn't really know how to do it when my girls were growing up. I had to take it off of other people.
Sure. That's a lot on a little kid.
It was a lot.
Did you have siblings?
No,
Only child.
Only
so
child.
You're dealing with this on your own.
on my own, and keeping it the best secret I could until I reunited with my favorite teacher in high school last year, and she told me we all knew. We were watching out for you.
So how many holidays then were you making things happen around the house?
A lot.
More than you can probably even number.
Yeah. And and then when I left and I was in college, I just didn't know what to do. I I had always leaned on women. I went and found strong women to be role models. My best friend's mom was probably the best role model I ever had. She was a singer. She started providing me voice lessons on the side. She took me to everything she did. I started singing with her in her choirs when I was about 12.
Do you think she knew about your parents?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think she knew.
Who was your friend at the time?
Rocky, and we had a group called Gentle Sunshine. And we
A singing group?
singing group, and we wrote all our own songs, and we sang at every coffee house between Palo Alto and Sunnyvale.
That's really cute.
In
What
the-
would you sing?
Oh, Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, Beatles songs.
Yes.
All great
Nice.
stuff. Whitebird.
Rocky's mom?
Rocky's
What was her
mom.
name?
Marion.
That's pretty special.
Mrs. Cochran, I called her.
That's pretty special.
She taught me how to clean house. So I went back and found her when I played Marion in The Music Man. I told her I was dedicating it to her, and I went and found her. She was living in Washington, and she and I talked about the whole thing.
That's
and
really
she-
special.
It was great. And I've had a lot of those moments with women in my life. And my father, who you asked about, my dad was gay.
Real dad or step?
Real dad.
Real dad was gay.
And my mom kept me from him.
Okay.
So I saw him up until I was 8,
Okay.
then not till I was 18, and then I went and found him myself.
Was he still, or
He was in the Bay Area
Okay.
where I was.
Okay.
He had been keeping an eye out on me.
because he's not an alcoholic?
No.
Okay,
He was
okay.
an amazing man. And he sued for custody of me when I was 2. And the judge said that it would be a better risk to leave me with my alcoholic mom
Are you
than
kidding?
a gay father.
Are you kidding me?
And I found all the paperwork when my mom died. And I took it and I bundled it all up and I called my dad and said, "Can I come over?" And I go over and I said, "Dad, I just found all this. I found your divorce papers and I found this."
He fought for you.
He fought for me and it went through humiliation and the risk of losing his job. This was in 1954. This was when you could lose everything if you
So
let people
he
know.
was openly gay.
Yeah.
And that's why the judge made that call.
Yeah.
Because no to your gay father, but yes to your alcoholic mother.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so my dad, he cried and he said, "I fought so hard and I couldn't win." And so I asked him, "What do you want to do?" And he said, "Let's burn it together." And so we put it in a bowl and we burned it.
Well, good for you.
It was awesome.
You know, you tell these stories with just this very sweet, gentle voice. Does it make you angry?
Well, I'm sitting here crying. No, not anymore. I was angry for a long, long time.
Sure.
And then I was angry. Well, I asked all the time. I was raised Catholic. So I would pray. Why? Why me? I'm such a nice little girl. I'm a sweet little girl. I try hard. I never miss school. I'm really good.
I make Thanksgiving dinner for crying out loud.
Yeah, and a really good one. You should come sometime.
I will.
But then I went to work in the prison system in 1998.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
So I'll wrap this around for you.
Okay.
And these boys, this was the prison in Grants Pass. That's a lockdown
Yes.
facility there.
Yes.
And I was doing arts administration. And these boys, I walked in and they looked at me and they were like, "Whatever, you know, how this lady is going to teach me anything? She's such a wimp." And they'd start trying their stuff on me.
Yeah.
And finally I told them, "You guys, I can go story to story with you. You first. Let's see who has the best one."
Right, because you have some zingers.
I got some good ones.
Okay.
And then I realized, why me? 'Cause
Oh.
I could go in there and they changed me and I changed them.
Right. You went through what you went through, so you could change some other lives.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Your stepdad, you said, was a great guy.
He was. He was a wonderful man. I loved him so just as my father. He raised me all that time.
Is he still around?
Nope, he died young of a heart attack.
Okay.
And my mom died of her alcoholism.
Right.
So they were both gone early. I mean, I was 40-something, and they were both gone.
And Hank?
Hank is my dad's partner.
Hank, right. And so your dad, when your dad is still around, or he passed away?
He died 10 years ago.
Okay.
Multiple myeloma.
Okay. And Hank?
Hank died 3 years ago.
Right. And I remember you posted something on Facebook about Hank.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad, when he was dying, well, the funny part of the story is my dad decided to come out to me when he was 79. And he did it in the cutest way up here.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah. I'd always known.
But just hearing it from him was...
I know. It was so cute.
Yeah.
He told me it was too hard to say the words because he and Hank had gone through that period of time where there was so much judgmental attitude towards anyone.
Sure.
And they were both afraid. Would their families support them? What would happen?
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad told me when he thought he was getting sick. And he said, I need you to promise you'll take care of Hank. And so that's when I was able to say, gosh, Dad, thanks for telling me. But I kind of knew.
Right. Well, because how long had these two been living
50
together?
years.
You're like, okay, I kind of can put two and two together.
I know. 50
Right.
years. Hank taught me how to dance, how to be an even better cook, how to garden. He taught me a lot of the things I'm really passionate about.
That's amazing.
And he was always Uncle Hunk. And he was a hunk. He was Puerto Rican and Mexican. He was so handsome.
It's a stunner.
Wore boots and cowboy hats all the time. Played a mean accordion. So my dad was a concert pianist, where the music comes from,
Sure.
I guess. And so he would play piano, and Hank would play accordion, and I would sing, and that would be the entertainment for the whole mobile
Okay,
home.
stop. That's pretty cute.
It was pretty cute.
Now, where did they live?
In Mountain View.
Okay, which
So-
is still Silicon Valley
Still
area.
right down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you ever, obviously you knew, but clearly 50 years, that's a partnership in
Yeah.
every sense of the word.
Yeah, yeah. And they were quite the pair. I mean, everyone adored them. For a short period of time during the AIDS crisis, in the 80s, they were managing an apartment building in Palo Alto that was all men living with AIDS. And they were the power of attorney for all these guys.
Wow.
And they made sure they got to their doctor's appointments, and they advocated for them. And my dad didn't really tell me that until later either. He was very private about it all. It was a combination of pride and embarrassment because he'd grown up thinking, "Ugh, I can't let anyone know this is
Right.
who I am."
And I'm sure coming out to you before he leaves this world
Yeah.
was huge, because even though you did know, I think saying the words for someone,
That's it.
that's it.
Saying the words. And
Yeah.
I actually wrote a short story about it, about saying the words. Well, because when he went to the hospital, he was in the VA hospital, and I had to advocate for them. I had to demand that Hank be allowed access, and it was tough. I just sat everybody down and said, no, this isn't how this is going to play out.
It seems incredibly silly, doesn't it, when you look at it?
Yeah, just loving people.
Right?
Loving people, taking care of other people.
Exactly. And you love who you love.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, these two have decided that, 50 years, come on.
Yeah, that's better than a lot of marriages people see.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, they just want to make sure that their loved one is taken care of the right way.
Yeah.
It just seems so silly when you look back on it.
It really is. And when Hank died, his family came from all over California to the little memorial we had. And they would walk in and see me and say, "Oh, it's Joelle," because he called me Joelle. And, and they remembered me from when I was just little. And they told me all these stories about them. And just even more assuring to me that my relationship with my father was probably the closest, dearest thing I ever would have.
It's almost like we need to go find that judge.
I wanted to find that judge. He was long gone. I would have gone and made an appointment with him.
Look, buddy.
Hey, hope you've changed your mind since then. Yeah, the number of kids. I thought about that the whole time I was growing up, of why are people not helping me? Why isn't any, in that era, counselors at school, if they knew, they didn't make
It's almost like stay out of it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
They just watched out, but it was tough.
And now you look at resources we have for kids who have alcoholic parents or neglectful parents or abusive parents. And
Yeah.
while I'm sure a lot of people would argue there's not enough out there that's done for children in those situations, but gosh, it's better than it used to be.
Yeah, thank God for CASA, right?
Oh, absolutely.
If I'd had a CASA, oh my goodness. Well, I had some, just wasn't official.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So looking back on that too, because you're not an old gal by any stretch of the mean, but all of your people in your life have left.
Yeah, I guess they have.
And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm making you cry.
It's okay.
And there's no Kleenex in here.
It's all right. Excuse me for wiping my nose in front of you. It's all right. I might have one in my purse, but I don't think so.
It's quite therapeutic, though. This is a good conversation.
Yeah, I didn't even think we'd go here.
Well,
but I love that we have.
You never know where we're going to go. So when Hank left, because Hank was really, when Hank passed away, he was really kind of the last sort of parental type figure in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm the parental type figure.
Oh, you're grandma.
Yeah, I'm grandma.
You are.
Yeah. Hazel just said to me yesterday, we were FaceTiming, and she looked at me, and we had that moment where we just look at each other, and she said, "You know what I'm thinking, don't you?" we just read each other's minds. And I said, "Yes, I do."
That's pretty sweet.
And she's a sweet girl. She's a lot like her grandpa. She has his heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Loving heart.
So let's go back a little bit. High school. What were you like in high school?
Oh, well, I won most talented in my senior class.
Boom.
So,
Because you were singing in high school.
yeah, I was performing, I was acting. So I was right into that. That saved me in a lot of ways.
Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I wanted to be a professional singer and actress.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm told by my classmates who, we've all reunited now that Facebook is alive and well. They've all told me that they wondered about me, that I was very quiet, very shy, didn't share a lot about my family, never had anyone over, so they kind of wondered about me. So I had a lot of really dear friends. I loved high school.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then what came after high school?
I went to college. I went to junior college first.
Okay.
Because I happened to live near a junior college that had an amazing music program.
Okay, so you went and did that.
So I went and did that and got my AA there. And then I transferred to Arizona State. Well, then I got married a first time. So I got married when I was 19.
Okay.
And that was a little soon, a little early. Also, because I was a child of an alcoholic, I had that tendency to want to fix, help, repair.
Pretty much everybody or?
Anybody that came my way. And so I was trying to do that with my first husband.
You think, and was marriage the solution, or was
No,
it just like a? Okay.
It wasn't. But he was a conductor. He was going to be a great conductor.
How old was he?
He was a year older than I.
Okay.
So he was 20, I was 19.
So a couple of music nerds.
And that's Allison's dad.
That's Allison's dad.
Yeah.
Okay, your firstborn.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's a wonderful man. I saw him again when she got married, and it was a little bit like, "Oh, hey. How you doing?
Oh, hello there.
Hi." And that's your family. Hi. Nice to meet you all.
So how long were you guys married?
7 years.
Okay. And then divorce was just inevitable?
Yeah, it just for a lot of reasons, it didn't end up being savable.
Okay. So explain how this path then, how did you get up to Oregon? Because you did some stuff in California.
Yeah.
And then you did theater and
Yeah,
all sorts of things.
Yeah, I was a member of a conservatory company down there, Los Altos Conservatory Theater. And there were a whole little bevy of us. We did 10 shows a season. We did everything. We acted, we musical directed. We were taught how to do it all.
Which is, that's, in my opinion, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, like what you guys have to
exactly.
do.
Learn how to do everything.
Learn how to do it all. And so we learned it all, and then it also made us appreciate everybody that was behind the scenes.
For sure.
Because you'd done it. And that's where I met Roger.
Mr. Graves.
Mr. Graves.
He's a handsome devil.
He was then too.
He's just a sweetheart, heart of gold.
He's a rock. He really is. And so he's one of those answers to prayer. He's one of those people that I said, I hope you're bringing me someone. I mean, are you even out there? Are you listening?
Hello.
Hi.
Is this thing on?
Yeah. Because he's the one that taught me that I could be anything.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah. So he told me early on, oh, you just got to go for what you know you can do because there's so much. Just go for it. Try it.
And you did.
And I did. And he always supported every single thing I wanted to try and listened. And
he must really love you.
He must. I think he does. I put him through a lot in one job I had, and I didn't realize how much it got to him. And he just recently told me about the symphony this last year that I worked for them. He just said to me, this is the first time I've seen you back again in 10 years.
Whoa, that's heavy.
He said, this is the girl I married.
Wow.
Because I'm so happy. And I just feel so settled. And it's a wonderful job.
Like you found your place almost.
I found it. Finally, I found the thing that everything lined up for me to do.
Okay.
And all the experiences I had, good and bad, brought me to being able to do this job.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What were some of the, the plays and musical theater? Like, what are some of the ones that really stick out to you that you just had a ball?
Well, The King and I was the turning point for me when I played Mrs. Anna. And my kids were old enough to come and be there and know, wow, that's my mom. So that was a really big one for me.
Where was that?
In Grants Pass.
Okay.
It was when Rogue Music Theater was really working outside and in its heyday. And then we would take the show to Britt.
Oh.
And so we did it for a weekend at Britt.
Awesome.
And then I did a series of shows there that were really career-changing for me.
Awesome.
And then I did 2 seasons at the Shakespeare Festival. That was a whole nother learning curve and awesome.
When were you at OSF?
91 and 93.
So I just interviewed a couple weeks ago Brandy Carson.
Oh.
Okay, so you obviously know her.
One of my favorite people.
Well, yeah, we talked a lot about being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And she really said her life started over at the age of 42 or 44.
Yeah.
But she was that was the same time period she was at OSF.
Yeah. In fact, when Sneak Preview interviewed me and asked me who my favorite actress was, it was Brandy Carson.
She's a hoot.
She's a hoot.
Yeah.
Her partner is my go-to therapist, the person who knows how to help anyone who's been a child of an alcoholic.
Wow.
And when my mom died, that's how long I've been seeing this lady. She told me, watch out, here you come. Because now the voice that's been in your head all these years, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It won't be there. There'll be nothing but Roger saying, you should do that.
That's amazing.
And she was right. I was like, whoa.
Such a small little world.
Who am I?
Yeah. Well, Brandy's,
Brandy.
I believe it airs, I think it's going up tomorrow.
Okay.
And I have, I believe, I'd have to double check on that, but I'm telling everybody you got to watch the video version of it. If you are used to listening to the podcast, you have to watch it because she's
a hoot.
She is a hoot.
Yeah.
She's an absolute hoot.
One of the finest actresses here. just hands down. People would do anything to be in a show with her. She did The Music Man with me, and she played Eulalie McKechnie Chin, or whatever her name is, the one that's one Grecian urn. You know, she's that character.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we just had to get used to the show is going to stop when she's doing anything.
Because she's that good.
Just wait for the laughs.
She's the actor on stage that people watch.
Yep.
Because there's always a handful of them that you can't help.
You can't help it.
You can't peel your eyes away from them.
Yeah.
And she strikes me as that kind of person.
Yep, she's stunning.
She is stunning.
And a great dog rescuer and
Yes.
human being.
Huge animal lover.
Yeah, she's a great lady.
Yes.
I'm glad you found her.
One of her, thank you. One of her best advice she'd ever been given was wear the world like a loose garment. And that has just stuck with me ever since we talked.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful,
That's
just a beautiful
nice
idea.
one. I like
really
that.
hope I got it right.
That's nice.
I'm going to double check really quick. Yes, wear the world like a loose garment. Lovely,
try
isn't
that.
it? It's, yeah, no, it's quite lovely. Speaking of OSF and Brit, you actually worked at the Brit for a handful of years.
I did. I was education director there.
That was fun because that played into music stuff. Or
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first year when you get to see all the shows and you're like there all the time because oh my God, I could see this. Oh, I could see this. I need to see that.
Right.
I don't know how many times I saw Chicago. Yeah, it was great work, and the education program was ripe, and we did some amazing things there. It was right after I'd finished working at the prison for 5 years. So I sound so funny.
It really is.
But that's what we call it. And I actually grieved losing that job.
I'm sorry. It's just really funny. I had 2 seasons at OSF and then Brit, and that was after I worked at the prison. Well, really
loved
quickly,
that place.
Really quickly, why did you want to work at a prison, or was it just?
I wrote the grant for the program for them as a favor, and then the one of the best bosses I've ever had called me and he said, "We got the grant, and I want to give you the job."
Oh wow!
And
Did that take some soul searching, or were you like, "I'm in"?
I'm in. I just knew. And the minute that door slammed behind my back when I went into the prison, and it's just like on TV. It's just wham.
Right.
I felt this, this is going to be cool.
5 years you were there.
Oh, I just loved it.
And I'm sure you heard some incredible stories.
Yeah, and I still have boys contacting me. I'm good. I'm been good for years now. You know, these kids were like me. They were just victims of their circumstances. They don't mean to be who they become. They just, some of them aspired to be criminals. It's what they had all around them.
That's what they knew.
It's what they knew, what they felt comfortable with. It was their family. We had to teach them that it was up to them to find a new surroundings.
That's got to make you feel good that some of them still contact you.
Yeah, it is. And I follow their careers and watch what they're doing, and I'm thrilled that they were able to.
We all need one. We all need
above.
someone. You know, you had Rocky's mom.
Yeah.
We all need someone to just tell us that you're better than this, and I believe that you can be much more than you are now. We all need that person or a handful of them in our life.
Yeah, I think because of what I went through as a kid, I've become a little more brazen. When I notice something, I will just step up. So if I see a young person heading the wrong way, or I know what they're up to, I will find a way to take them aside and say, I just need you to know that what you're doing is killing the people who love you. So what can we do to stop this?
For sure.
Well, how can we help? When I have a homeless person in Ashland hit me up, and especially if it's a female, and I'll tell her, yeah, I will definitely help you out right now if you will just call your grandma on my phone.
Really?
Because I know there's people out there loving you, heartbroken.
because you're living this lifestyle.
Because they don't know where you are.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'll give you $5 if you'll make the phone call.
Wow.
Never, ever had anyone take me up on it.
Interesting. I always think, though, we have a number of buttons on us, and you run across people who push a button here, and then someone else will push a button here, to the point where all of your buttons are pushed, and then you kind of go, oh, I'm going to change now, because all of those buttons have been pushed for however long.
Yes.
So you never know what button you have pushed on those kids.
That's true. And I was a person who could have her buttons pushed and went through years and years and years of some people even figuring out how to push them. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago, I mean, I'm 66 now, I didn't figure it out till I was 63.
Better late than never.
But I'm glad I did. And now it's kind of interesting. Something will happen and I'll be like, wow, that's so cool that I didn't feel the way I used to feel when that just came down. I can just, sort of like what Brandy was saying, I can just wear it a little looser.
Wear it like a loose garment. Thank you, Brandy Carson, for that insight.
Okay.
We're going to wrap up in just a second, but I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe last year, longer than that, the Mail Tribune did a story on you.
Oh, yeah.
About a letter you wrote.
Yeah. I just got goosebumps to President Obama.
Mr. Obama himself.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, tell me the story.
All right. So I was taking care of Roger's mom when she was in hospice. And we were sitting there talking, and I said, Mom, tell me your proudest moment. And she said, oh, well, you won't believe it. Okay, but I want to know. I figured it was when she adopted Roger, or it was, I had a million things that I thought she could tell me about. And she said, I voted for the first black president.
Wow.
Well, she was a diehard Republican.
Okay.
So then she went on to tell me about her use of the N-word throughout her life. And I used to have to call her out on it. Not in front of the kids, Mom.
Right.
They were pretty prejudiced. And so it was a big, big deal. And so she told me all about what it felt like for her to cast that vote, how important it was for her to do it. She was 91 when she did it. So I wrote him a letter, and I told him, I just want you to know this before you leave the White House, that there's this 91-year-old lady from Indiana who told me that her proudest moment was voting for the first African-American, well, she said black, president.
Because her mind had changed.
Her mind had changed, and he changed it. And so I told him the whole story, and then I started getting the phone calls from the White House. And the first one, when Valerie Jarrett called me, his chief of staff, or she was his head, I forget what position she had, but she calls and she says, hi, this is Valerie Jarrett calling from the White House. And I went, yeah, sure. You're
like, ha, ha, ha. You're hilarious.
This is Cindy. And she's, no, it really is me. And it turned out that that was when they were just letting me know that my letter had been chosen as one of the 10 a day that he would read personally out of the thousands he got a day. And then they called me to tell me that it was going upstairs he was going to read it at the dinner table with the kids. And then 3 months later, they called me and told me it was being chosen for a New York Times article, and was it all right if they used it? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then 3 months ago, I found out that it's going to be in a book called To Obama, and he chose it as his number one favorite letter.
High five.
I know.
Go you.
And then I got my little thank you card from him, handwritten, and I'm supposed to meet him in September when I go to see the book being released.
No way.
I know. So
That's
I'm
so
like,
exciting.
What? And she said, you might want to bring your whole family. Yeah. How many can I bring?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, it's just such a simple letter. I have read the other 9 letters. I can't believe that this one was the one that resonated the most.
You pushed one of his buttons.
I pushed one of his buttons, the N button.
Yeah.
It means a lot to know that someone went from that to voting.
For sure. Joelle, what a life.
Yeah.
And you're still living it.
I am.
Full speed ahead.
Living and loving it.
I love it. final 3, best advice you've ever been given.
Be your own miracle.
Who gave you that advice?
Ann Bartlett, Reverend Ann Bartlett, my priest at the Trinity Episcopal Church. And she said, you know what, Joelle, sometimes you just have to be your own miracle.
You have.
And I know how to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of courage.
I'm sure.
Because it's easier to just wait for one.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah. So.
All right.
That's mine.
If you ever left this place, the Rogue Valley, Southern Oregon, and what would bring you back? What would you miss the most?
Oh, well, after I came back from England, I would, what did I miss the most? I think the landscape, the beautiful landscape of these hills, the clouds that accumulate here, the sky, the colors that live in the Rogue Valley. It's what brought us here was Roger bringing me here and saying, ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to live here.
Wow.
So I think the beauty is what might bring me back.
Okay. Well, thanks, Roger, for bringing her here.
Yeah,
we
thanks,
appreciate
Rog.
it. And finally, if you were ever given a last meal and a last drink, a last beverage, what would that be?
Wow. It'd be something my sister-in-law, Kelly, prepared.
Okay.
Because she's like the most amazing. I might just have to have lobster, maybe 2 or 3.
Good choice. Butter.
Oh, yeah, butter. Only butter. I'd want to, my new favorite drink is anything with rye. I like rye whiskey now.
Look at you.
I don't know why, but I drink a lot of mules with rye.
Yeah.
I love them. And then I'd have to have lemon meringue pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to bring in the dessert.
Yeah.
For sure. I have a great drink recipe for you that includes rye whiskey.
Okay.
I'll tell you when we're done.
I want it because I watch your drinks.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, I've said his name before. My hubby is a great bartender.
I can tell.
He's just, he's my local live-in bartender.
Okay, I'd love to have it.
Okay, I will definitely give you that recipe. You've been so much fun. I say
Thanks,
this every
Trish.
time, but I think you need to come back. I feel like we need to talk about England. We need to talk about England.
No, we got to talk about that, and we got to talk about the symphony.
I know.
And my first name is Patricia.
Well, see, I'm just a Trisha.
You're just a Trisha, but
Yeah.
I was called Trish at one point in my life.
Stop. I love it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've always felt that.
That connection.
Yeah.
We do have a very good connection.
Yeah.
Music has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about all that next time you come back.
All right.
If you're listening to this podcast on iTunes and you like it, please subscribe, rate, and review. It helps other people find us. We're also on Google Play. Check out this video portion of this podcast on ktvl.com. All you have to do is click on features and then off script. Again, that's at ktvl.com. Joelle Graves, thank you so much. This has been a blast.
Oh, thank you, Trish.